Good morning, friends. I hope you are all doing well. So this is day 4 of the challenge. So I wanted to take an opportunity today to look at 3 things that I notice consistently that people do during a practice that can lead to injury. So I'd like to bring them up as something for us to consider when we're practicing yoga, just to prevent people from hurting themselves. So I'm gonna prop you guys up here, got my mat. All right, so number one thing I see a lot of is people throwing their head and their neck back when they're doing poses. So I'm gonna show you in upward facing dog. So when we come down, we come up into upward facing dog, we should have a nice long neck here. Should be engaged all the way through into our legs and our sit bones. But a lot of people end up doing this, and that's gonna strain the neck. So when we come into this posture, we want to move and keep the neck nice and long. So we should be looking slightly up, but forward. So we never wanna look up to the ceiling. That's gonna create a lot of tension and injury into the neck. So you can imagine if you're doing vinyasa and you're coming up and down and you're throwing your neck back every single time, eventually you're going to strain your neck. So that's one thing to watch. I also see it when we're doing poses where we're arms up. We can look up without throwing our neck back. So just being conscious of the neck when you're doing any of those kind of back bends that kind of push your neck to go upward, your gaze to go upward. Just being mindful that we're not dropping our neck all the way back. So that's number 1. So the other thing that I see a lot of is, and forward fold is a perfect way to show you this. So a lot of the time I see this. So we're wanting to move forward, but we're curling the back. I don't know if you can see me curling my back. So what we want to do in forward folds, we want to lengthen the spine when we want to fold forward, right? So if we're tight in the hamstrings, that's okay. Having a little bit of bend in the knee is fine. What we want to do is we want to move forward. So one of the things you can do in forward fold to help you to understand how to do that is using a strap. So let's say we're doing this forward fold using a strap. And what we're going to do is we're pulling the shoulder blades together on the back side of our body. So that's keeping our upper back nice and straight, and then we're folding forward. So you might only fold forward this far, and that's okay. But the trick is to be bringing your chest down to your thighs. And then when you're connected, then you can drop your head down. But if we're dropping our head down up here, what we're doing is we're curling the shoulders forward, and we're curling the whole upper back. So this is creating tension into the neck, and it's causing back problems. So keeping that length in our spine, and this takes a lot of time because we have to build the core up, and we have to understand how to sit up kind of straight. It took me a really long time to figure this out because I think a lot of people, especially with our phones and at the computer, we tend to hunch over. So to teach ourselves how to pull those shoulder blades back again and sit up nice and tall is definitely a challenge for a lot of us. So by using this strap, we can constantly pulling those shoulder blades together and teaching our body how to hold ourselves up nice and strong. And then when we do that, engaging that core, the more we can engage our core, the more that we can create that stability so that we can hold our body up and fold forward and straight with more strength. So that is number 2. So that's the second thing that I see a lot of people doing, which can cause a lot of problems. The third thing is stacking joints, like stacking your body. Okay, so when you're building a Lego with your kid, if you have kids and you're building Lego, you can't build a tower going off like this, right? Like, you know, when your kids start putting, 1 or 2 pieces and then they put this like long piece and then they try to build off the long piece and it's like tilting over, it's not going to hold, right? So it's compromised. So we want to stack everything just like Lego. So I'll use Virabhadrasana for this. So when we are stacking here, We want to stack the knee over the ankle. A lot of time I see this lunging forward, and you can see that my knee is not over my ankle. Now I'm compromising this knee. So we want to stack. We want everything stacked. So just imagine when you're in a posture that you're stacking Lego. So look down, check your knee and your ankle, check where your feet is, check your hips. Are you leaning forward or you're coming right over your hips? Then you can begin to build, right, that strength. If we're leaning forward, we're compromising the back leg. If we're leaning back, we're going to be compromising, this will kind of straighten. So just stack everything. And if you're not sure, definitely go to a class, ask a teacher. But that is one of the other things I see a lot of, is that we're moving too far forward or we're moving too far back. We're not stacking. So we want to make sure whatever we do, that we're looking down at our joints and making sure that our shoulders over our wrists, our knees are over our ankles, and that we can stack so that we can create a really strong posture and we're not moving into any injury. Because you can imagine if you're in a pose like that and you're holding yourself and you just slightly move, to the right or to the left, you're going to twist that knee out. So we want to keep it stacked for that strength and stability. So those are the 3 things I see a lot of that I thought it would be really good to just kind of share, so that if you find that you are doing these things, it is very common and normal. And it's just bringing the awareness into like, okay, I'm throwing my neck back. And getting used to, if you've been doing it for a long time, getting used to not doing it again can be a little bit of a challenge. So just giving yourself some grace and some patience, that it takes time to build those muscles around the joints and to build that awareness of what you're doing in your body while you're practicing. But I want everyone to stay safe and have a good practice and not injure themselves. So I thought this was such an important video to make. So that's the video for today. So the challenge today is just get on your mat like every other day and make sure that when you do your practice today, just be really mindful of the positions, the poses that you're moving into, and just being aware of those couple of things, that you have a nice straight back, that you're stacking your body and you're not throwing your neck back. And just be very mindful of your practice today. All right? Have a wonderful day, guys. Lots of love. Talk to you tomorrow. Namaste.